Watching the game yesterday after the first period, we were all pretty happy with the fact that it was 0-0 at the end of the first period. I mean, it could have been 2-3 or 4-0 on the other end, and Vasilevsky made a couple good saves too, so I don't want to take anything away from him. But there was no question that the Lightning came out, and it's exactly, if you're a hockey fan, this is the type of thing that you would have expected. And then to be 0-0 at the end of the first period, you're like, oh, all right, we got away with one. Igor kept us in it. Igor made some great saves, and they missed some shots, and this is the way hockey goes. All right, so let's see what happens in the second period. They take a lot of stupid penalties. They try to run Igor Shesterkin. That's going to be an issue now as we move forward, as the Lightning are trying to get into his head and trying to get physical with him. We get the 2 power play goals. We got a 2-0 lead. The Nikita Kucherov goal, the first goal for Tampa Bay, if you ask Igor Shesterkin, should he have blocked it, 100% he will tell you he should have had that one. That to me was, it's not a soft goal because it's a power play and he's basically on a doorstep and he's taking a shot and he shoots it between his legs. To me, Igor normally makes that shot. He read the play perfectly. He knew where the puck was coming from, and somehow it slid underneath his pads. That was probably one that he would love to have had back. But, you talked about that great pass that Kucherov made to Palat, and then, of course, Chris Kreider at the end of the game says, I'm sitting around puck watching, and I need to be more involved. And it's not on Mika because Mika was the closest one to Andre Palat for the game-winning goal, but Kreider took responsibility for it. And, Jacob Trouba had a tough game yesterday. He took a lot of penalties. Those penalties came back to haunt the Rangers. 5-on-5, the Rangers played pretty damn good, man. Solid defensively until that last goal. But, it's not like they played the perfect road game, but they were getting away with not playing their best game, while John Cooper went back to 12 forwards and 6D. He had been playing with 11 forwards and 7D. And now I know the Rangers coming out of this game, I'm not sure what the future or immediate future of Ryan Strome is.
Yeah, well, that's a huge deal, of course.
I couldn't tell if that was a knee. I couldn't tell if that was a thigh. I couldn't tell if it was a hamstring. I couldn't tell what it was, but whatever it was, he tried to come back on the ice and didn't skate. He couldn't do it. So that usually means that's going to be some significant downtime. But then now it shifts back to Gerard Gallant. What are you going to do, and how is he going to fortify? If Brian Strome is out for an extended period of time, do they bring up like a Dryden Hunt or Julian Guntier? Do they want to keep the lines, 4 lines and then 6D? I don't want to see 7D. I don't want to see Patrick Nemeth. I don't want to see any of those guys. I want to see, maybe an extra forward that you have that has played this year at some point in time. But this is a series. And they are a champion, and they are the 2-time Stanley Cup champion. And Vasilevsky played great yesterday. Barclay Goodrow had a doorstep shot, and but then again,
well, he ended up getting hurt and then coming back.
Yeah, well, he took a shot off the ankle.
Right, he blocked that shot.
But here's the other thing too that does always a little bit unnerve me when I think about when the Rangers do lose. What is the real reoccurring theme here? And the reoccurring theme is 51 shots on goal.
Yeah, just insane. I mean,
right.
and Igor under siege and really doing an amazing job of keeping it together. I mean, this could have been one of those games where you thought, wow, I mean, the Tampa Bay just went out to a 4-0 lead and coasted. I mean, that's how many pucks were getting to the net. So, yeah, I mean, that's frustrating. And you saw in the Pittsburgh series, not that I really want to compare the 70-something shots to what you saw yesterday, but it felt like that affected him. After that first game, because he wasn't really, it took him a while to get back to himself.
Yeah, I would just say that I think the more work they get, the more work he gets, the better he is. Now, 50 is ridiculous. And they also blocked, I think, 18 shots in front of him.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you that they were under onslaught, it felt like the whole game. And then you're just waiting, say, okay, it's 2-2. Maybe Kreider will get one of those lob passes. Maybe he'll get behind the defense. Maybe he'll be able to score. Maybe Mika will do something special. Maybe Panarin will do something special. And it just never really materialized. And then, unfortunately, to give up that goal that late, I thought we were going to get extra hockey yesterday. And then, those are the situations when you're on the road against a, Stanley Cup champion, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, no less. Those are the opportunities you want. You want the game to be tight. You want it to be close. And you just want one of your players to do something special, kind of like they did at the end of the game with Andre Palat. So yeah. I would just say that I'm not overly concerned about anything other than Ryan Strome. And The fact is this team has been resilient all year. This is a series. This is the heart of a champion. This is not going to be easy. It's going to be excruciating and frustrating at times, but other times it's going to be exhilarating. And I will say Friday night was exhilarating.
Yeah, sure.
Friday night was great, but I thought if I had to think, and I know that most of these athletes that play in these series, whether it be basketball, football, whatever it is, baseball, the long series, everybody talks about momentum and when does it swing in your favor? When doesn't it swing in your favor? And I felt like towards the end of the game on Friday night, with about 5 minutes left to go, for whatever reason, it looked as if Tampa hit the gas. They hit the gas pedal, and here we go. And, 6-on-5, at the end, and Igor's got to make like 3 unbelievable saves. Now, we get a 6-on-5 at the end yesterday, don't even get a sniff.
Yeah.
So, I almost felt like if you want to talk about momentum, that maybe the last 5 minutes of game 2 carried over into game 3. But then again,
but you're right, you were up 2-0 in the game.
I know, but then again, you are up 2-0. But you got to remember that they're playing in their building.
Yeah.
And they played, to their crowd. And like I said, I thought the Rangers played a decent road game, not a great road game. And the reason it's a decent road game is because they were up 2-0 at one point. And it's not a great road game simply because of the amount of penalties that the Rangers took, and Jacob Trouba in particular. Now, look, he's been one of our best players. He sets the tone. Didn't have a great game. That's going to happen in a 7-game series. Some would say that maybe Nikita Kucherov didn't have a great game the first 2 games, or somebody would say that, Victor Hedman looks slow. I think somebody said that yesterday going into the game. And maybe he didn't play that well. I mean, this is what goes on here. These are highly skilled players. They're all grinding. They're all playing with purpose. They all want to be the guy. And you're going to get this kind of intensity, which is why we love what we're seeing. It's intense. It's balls to the wall, guys coming back after getting hit with the puck in the legs.
So at 2-0, you're thinking, oh man, like this team's got still a lot left in them, Tampa Bay, and they're most likely going to come back. You're
100%.
You're not thinking being up 3-0 at that point was anywhere.
Especially when you feel like, okay, Tampa took a lot of stupid penalties. Corey Perry, stick across the face of Shesterkin, Riley Nash running into Shesterkin. I mean, those are stupid penalties. I mean, absolutely stupid penalties. But then somewhere along the line, there's going to be an even up call.
Yeah,
there's going to be a makeup call, as they say. And I can't sit here and say that every single one of the Ranger penalties weren't a penalty. There was one that I would question, but you knew there were going to be calls coming for Tampa Bay eventually.
I'll tell you where I thought the Rangers were going to win the game. This is after the game was tied. The Kucherov high stick on Zibanejad, the double minor, the 4-minute power play, that it ended up not being a full 4-minute power play.
And the reason for that, because, they say puck luck, puck bounce. You need the puck bounce here, you need puck bounce there. Trouba's at the point. The puck bounces over his stick, and now all of a sudden it's a race with him and I think Killorn. And he's got to take a penalty.
Yep.
And he takes the penalty, and there goes the 4 minutes.
Right, but at that point, I was like, oh, man, I mean, they're going to score in this 4 minutes, and that's going to be it. And then they're going to win the game, and they're going to go up 3-0 in the series. That's what I really thought.
But that's why that penalty by Trouba was a killer.
Yeah.
Because that was the Rangers. If you look at it just from the standpoint of where they were in the game, how much time was left in the game, and where the score was, that was the moment where the Rangers had to capitalize. Their power play didn't look great yesterday, even though, there were times it just looked a little disjointed, but I just, that penalty right there just basically kills the Rangers. And that's what, and again, he's such a good player. And remember, normally it's Fox and Panarin up there, but he's up there now. And he's the second point guy on the second power play. And that puck just jumps over his stick, and Killorn's got the the momentum going forward, and he's got to stop him, because they don't want to give up another shorthanded goal, because that's been a little bit of a reoccurring theme here throughout the playoffs. And he takes a penalty. And then that just kind of now reignites the fans, in the building.
Sure.
And they kill it off, and you gain momentum off of killing off of, penalties like that.
Let me tell you this. Speaking of the fans, once again, almost full Ranger fan takeover in that building. I mean, you could You could hear the Potvin sucks chant. You could hear Ranger fans loud when the goals were being scored through the television. I mean, you know this is going to happen in places like Carolina and Tampa, but still, I mean, it's significant what goes on in these buildings, and I do think that matters. I do think that it does count. It does matter. I do think the players notice.
Right, they do notice, and the big thing now moving forward for the Rangers. Okay, what's going on with Ryan Strome? And the reason I say that is because he has been so valuable playing with Panarin 5-on-5, but he's also been a huge contributor on the number one power play. And they have to figure out, if Ryan Strome is unable to play, is it Filip Chytil that goes in there? Is it Capo Kakko who goes in there? I don't necessarily know that it's Lafreniere that goes in there. Is it Andrew Kopp that goes in there? What is the makeup of the team now, and what does it look like? You have.
And you're not feeling too great about this injury, the fact that he didn't return.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know what the injury is, but it is kind of like Braden Point. They're missing one of their best players.
Yeah, a guy who scored the most goals in the postseason for them last year when they won the Cup.
And he's a big-time player, just like, it seems like Ryan Strome was having a really good playoff run, and he is a significant part of the team. And again, like I said, I don't know. I wake up this morning, I don't know whether he's going to play tomorrow night. I hope he can, but I also want him out there at 100%. I don't want him out there at 75% for a lot of reasons. And defensively is probably one of the biggest reasons why, because you got to be a 200-foot player in the playoffs. If you're not, your team's going home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt like the Lightning at one point yesterday were going. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I know what you say about and the Tampa Bay Lightning and winning 2 cups and how they're not going to go down 3-0 and you feel like this team's not going to get swept, but there were still a couple times yesterday that I said this Ranger team is just unbelievable. Like, they're going to dispatch of this Tampa Bay team.
Too many penalties.
And they still may. I mean, they still very well may. They might win the series in 5. I mean, honestly, they've been the better team for what? No, they have been. They played better.
Igor has been amazing. Like, Igor was amazing yesterday.
I know he faced too many shots.
50, I think it's 52 shots now I'm looking at.
Yeah, but, I mean, still, is it fair to say that the Rangers for 75% of the series have been the better team?
If you give up
Not more?
So the last 5 minutes of Game 2, you give up a goal, and then you almost give up a game-tying goal in the last 5 minutes. That's not how you shut down the opposing team. And to me, that's where there was a little bit of a shift in momentum. And then, you're literally talking about Hall of Fame type players.
Oh, yeah.
When you're talking about Stamkos, Hedman, and Kucherov and Vasilevsky. They have 4 Hall of Fame players on their roster that are playing. And Shesterkin even had. This is the other thing that drives me crazy. When you Shesterkin had to stop Kucherov when he came out of the box on a breakaway.
Yeah,
I'm like somebody has got to wake up. That can't happen. And we're all sitting there, and I know every Ranger fan at home is sitting there going, okay, the penalty clock's winding down, and this guy's going to be coming out of the box. Don't give him a breakaway. And sure enough, he gets a breakaway.
Yeah,
that's like what? So that again, it's a missed. It's just a thing where in the midst of everything, and I think that got behind Keandre Miller. I think was the one that didn't realize what was happening. Sometimes young players go through that. I mean, he's been great. They've all been great. The whole team has been great. I mean, they've had moments where they've looked bad and they've got overrun, and I think that happened at the end of Game 2, and I think that happened for the most part yesterday until Tampa Bay started taking the penalties. But now they got to regroup. They got to figure out what's going on with Strome. And they got to come out and they got to play a lot. And they'll be the first to tell you, they got to play a lot better than they did yesterday.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.